If you may realize, this video is in a new setting today to represent the new Premier League season 2021-2022. A fresh start, a clean slate, newfound hope for all 20 clubs of the Premier League, and especially for last year's champions Manchester City, my club. And what happened? We got beat by freaking Tottenham. You know the saying, it's Tottenham, lads. Well, today, Tottenham us. Tottenham screwed us. First things first, Tottenham played beautifully. Tottenham played exceptionally well. And I go back to what I was saying about how this is supposed to be a newfound hope, a clean slate. That match reminded me of another match that we played against another London club. Alright, I remember now. The freaking Champions League final. The same tactics by Chelsea, used by the same tactics as Tottenham against Manchester City, who can't seem to break down a side which literally defended in its own half pretty much the entirety of the game. Now, I'm not going to knock Tottenham because it is a useful tactic. It is a tactic that has worked out numerously against City and against any other team that is expected to have more of the ball, right? Now, I'm not going to knock Pep because he has been a tactical mastermind for Manchester City. You know, he's brought us to Premier League dominance. I think it was five Premier Leagues in 4 Premier Leagues in the past 5 years. That is an incredible achievement. But how has Pep Guardiola in the past 5 years as Manchester City manager has not found a solution against teams that defend in their own half? How has he not found a method to break down opposition that park the bus? Not just park the bus, they park the freaking plane in. Now, before I go into all the little banter about Manchester City's players, let me give some credit to Tottenham Hotspur because they were exceptionally brilliant. They were ruthless on the counter-attack. They were tenacious in defense, and they were just simply brilliant from start to finish. Tanganga, that boy has pocketed Sterling. You should look in the mirror and consider why do you keep making bad errors and do you keep killing our own counter-attacks? How are you Tottenham's best player? How are you the one who's constantly backtracking and not driving forward? You're the one who's supposed to have things. You're supposed to be the Son. You're supposed to be the Lucas Moura of our team. You're the one who's supposed to burst through that defense and cause havoc down that wing, but you aren't. You didn't do any of that. Tanganga was brilliant, Son obviously brilliant, Moura obviously with the pace. Pretty much the whole Tottenham Hotspur team was just driven by the crowd, and I'm not gonna lie, the crowd played a huge part. I never heard an atmosphere like that ever since the previous season where crowds were available. And it's great to have the fans back into the stadium. Not gonna lie, if this was in City's ground, we would have been bursting, shouting at our players to go forward. And this shows that fans really play an important role in any football match. Now, I've given credit to where Spurs have done well. They were blistering on a counter-attack. They were really tight in defense. Now let's go on to Manchester City's own players. Man for man, every one of you, except for possibly 3 or 4 players, are gonna get it from me tonight. Now, first things first, I'm no coach, but even I should know the basics of football. Grealish, De Bruyne at the end, and Ruben Dias are the only ones exempt from any sort of criticism here whatsoever. Because they are the ones that are constantly looking for something. They are the ones that put their bodies on the line. Ruben Dias, I'm looking at you. You are a real leader. And Fernandinho as well. Let me not forget Fernandinho. He was pretty good at keeping everyone at bay, even though he looked a little bit knackered at the end. I think he still did pretty well, and especially as our captain. But oh boy, the rest of the squad. Ederson, I guess he could have done better, I think, but nevertheless, he only conceded 1 goal, and I think our defense actually had a bigger part to play in that rather than Ederson himself. Cancelo was, I guess, okay down the wing. He wasn't really as effective. Maybe if he had a lot more support and not having to track back every single time, getting caught on the counter attack, then maybe he would have been more effective. I don't know. My problem is with the left side of our defense, Ake and bloody Mendy. Okay, Mendy, we have known about him for a long time. He's not good. It's not good. He's far be it from me to judge him as a player, because I would probably play as shit or even more shit than him. But he was just poor. Decision making was poor. He's lost the ball on numerous occasions, getting caught out on numerous occasions, and basically that duo on the left side of the defense was a whole starting point of any Tottenham counter-attack. Ake was just not dominant enough. I have to say, he wasn't dominant enough. If you look through the replays of City's defense during that match, you will realize that it is Diaz who's always putting his body on the line whenever a shot came in. There was one instance where it was Son who was taking a shot, and Ake was the man who was trying to mark him, and Ruben Diaz was on the other side. How is it that it was Ruben Diaz who went over to the other side and blocked Son's shot? There's no surprise when we consider the goal. Diaz is doing the job of two defenders. Ake needs to beef up. Going on to the midfield, Grealish was pretty good. He was the only one trying to make anything out of anything in that midfield. Gundogan was alright. Again, it goes back to what I was saying. Maybe if we weren't getting caught in counter-attack so much, maybe Gundogan could have been a lot more effective, but he wasn't. Fernandinho, as I said, he was exempt from criticism, so he's cool. Mahrez, he had one chance, and I think he was pretty ineffective for the whole game. Purely because, I don't want to make an excuse for him, but purely because most of the game was played on the left side. When you have bloody Mendy and Sterling, the two most out of form players, and you play the game more down that side than you do on this side, it just blows my mind. Why did they do that? So Sterling, we've said it before countless times. It's been said by the media countless times. He's still out of form. He still hasn't played very well. He still needs a lot better decision making. And the thing about Sterling is that we've been saying this rhetoric over and over and over and over again. Sterling needs better decision making. Sterling needs better finishing. Sterling needs better passing. It's been going on for like 5 years now, and he hasn't made that improvement. I don't want to knock him so early at the start of the season, because who knows? He could be having a John Stones level of revitalization further down the season. That could happen. That could happen. But purely just for this game, he brought in the form that he had last season. And let me just tell you, for those who don't watch football at all, his last season was pure shit. Let's give it a straight though. Varane wasn't good. And it shows that we really need a striker. Kane, Haaland, Mbappe, whoever. Aguero would have done a better job there. Jesus, if you played him from the start, might have done a better job there. We just didn't have that sort of clinicalness in front of goal. Let's face it, Varane isn't a striker. He's a right winger. He was a lot more effective in that last 10 minutes when De Bruyne came on. Jesus played in the middle instead, and Varane was moved up to the right wing. That he was much more effective in that last 10 minutes than he was ever in the whole match. Varane is a winger, not a striker. Play him his actual position, please. I beg you, and I beg you, buy a bloody striker. It's still very early on in the season, but few things for me to say, which is our squad, though we spent billions, we've reached the billion mark, I think, billion euros mark, is still not good enough. How are we so overly reliant on Kevin De Bruyne bailing us out every single time? Far be it from me, a lowly young adult living in the backsides of Malaysia, telling Pep how to do his job, but come on, it's been 4 years. How have we not found a game plan to break down teams who will inevitably park the bus against us? I hope he finds a solution for this, because it has been driving me nuts, and I couldn't live with myself if we were to lose another Champions League final, or if we were to lose a final of any sort, because we can't break down a team that has put 11 players in their own half. And lastly, gotta get rid of some of the talent. Mendy has been poor for about 4 years. His injury has not made him the player that he once was. I think he needs to go. Sterling, I feel like he should be given until the end of the season, and then only then we should make a decision. But nevertheless, if he continues on this form, I don't know. I may just give up on it. And I can see the memes just coming out now of how we've spent so many billions of dollars. How we spent 100 million on Jack Grealish. And yet we lose to bloody Tottenham. That is the headline for tomorrow. Alright guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you there, but for now though, it's been enjoyable. I'm gonna have a bad sleep tonight, but nevertheless, it has been fun. Make sure you like, share and subscribe to this channel for more news on Manchester City. If you're a Manchester City fan, hit that subscribe button now for more insights on Manchester City. But for now though, I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. Peace.